It's the day. It's the day of the dirty desk today. So if I were editor of this, if I were the person who had been in charge of okaying the copy, when this draft would have come to me, there's no ink, this is just symbolic. Obviously, I would have given it a rework in capitals, actually, language, big capitals, patronizing. Because we know that there's, as when you're trained to write journalism, obviously you're told, you write it as simply as you can, but there's simply and then there's patronizing. This is patronizing, so rework so as to not offend users. When I say that, let's have a go as quickly. I'm trying to find out why the speed control unit is flashing at me and why it's going so slowly. But please show, hang on a second. We're going to point to this, each word, right, because it's written so patronising, they obviously think we've got issues. So we're going to help with the reading, like Miss Fletcher used to do in Talabont. Do you remember that, Talabont kids? I used to love Miss Fletcher in infants. Apart from when she smacked her hands with rulers and had us stand at the front of the line and put our hands out. It was humiliation, but I suppose it worked. I'm not going to say anything else there. Please show the utmost consideration for the other traffic on the road. Remember that the last thing a car or lorry driver expects to see is a wheelchair backing off the curb onto the road. I'm going to go through this linguistically, just wait a second. If in any doubt, do not risk crossing the road until you are certain that it is safe. Always cross the road as quickly as possible. There may be other traffic. Number one, if you need to be told that these things, always cross the road as quickly as possible. There may be other traffic. If in any doubt, do not risk crossing the road until you're certain. If you need to be told that, it would mean you have extra care issues. And therefore, you would probably likely have a carer with you. Right? So that's wrong and just awful. Show the utmost consideration. So we've got to show consideration for the cars and lorries that are showing no consideration for us. So we've got to show the utmost consideration for you guys while you do things like park in front of the inadequate drop curbs. I'll talk about that. And while you park on the pavement. Like the other day up in this village, I was trying to get to the pharmacy to get some oxycodone because my pain was so bad. And I had to go on the road to get around the cars that were parking, blocking the pavement on double yellow lines. They're double yellow lines and they were on the pavement. So they park on the pavement because they think somehow that negates the double yellow lines. But it meant I had to go around the cars. I've got it on video. I had to go around the cars on the road. And we still have to show you the driver's utmost consideration when you block the pavements. And that's another thing. The last thing a car or lorry driver expects to see is a wheelchair backing off the curb onto the road. My belly is about to rumble. We shouldn't have to be backing off curbs. If you have to back off a curb, it means you're backing off a 5 or 6 inch curb because there's no available drop curb. The issue with most drop curbs today, especially around the new housing estates, is that they're designed for cars. They're there for cars. They're not there for us. They're there for cars, which means the pavement is sloped. So the car can go over it, right? Obviously, it has to be sloped and graduated a little bit down to the drop curb. But when it's in front of garages, for example, or gateways, the slope continues all the way up the pavement rather than gradually, like graduating out and flattening out. So if there's a sloped pavement, then your whole body, I can't use sloped pavements. It screws my spine. And I'm not going to be backing. I don't back off 5 or 6 inch curbs because it'll hurt my pelvis, And then my spine, obviously, is permanently fractured as it is. And I've already been told to be careful it doesn't fall over up a slope. So why am I going to back off a 5 or 6 inch curb when it could fall over? My spine is permanently fractured. It's hypermobile. So it subluxes all the time, constantly throughout the day, numerous times a day, countless times. And then it houses my spinal cord. My spinal cord has massive aneurysms on my central nervous system, and also the bottom of it has something related to spina bifida, both of which suck the juice from around and in my brain and spinal cord. So how am I going to be backing off 5 or 6 inch curves with all that going on in a chair that might fall over? The answer is make better pavements, stop blocking the pavements of your vehicles, especially on double yellow lines, and put proper drop curbs in. If any doubt, do not risk crossing the road until you are certain that you're safe. Why would we? Why would we? Don't need to be told that. Do you think we close our eyes, go backwards off a 6 inch drop curb, and just mindlessly cross the road? I mean, do not cross roads backwards. Always cross the road as quickly. Yeah, we don't like, what do? Do we stop halfway to knit a sock? Who have they got advising on all this? Who have they got advising on all this?